Now I'm just showing you a very basic thing. So, okay, so this is the data I have in a file. Okay, so this data I want to read from Informatica and load into Target. And since I want to load to another target, I will create one target table here. So this is the target table. So I want to just load, okay, this file data. The requirement or requirement is scenario is read data from this particular file. Okay, this is depd.csv and load those records into this particular table. So to do this, first of all, I am going to create my target because I need a target here. So this is the target, DEPT target, because I just need to load to this. So now I want to define a source. Okay, but this time source is a file. Okay, that's why I'm going to source and say import from. Previously we are importing from database, but now we are importing from file. So right now it is located under one directory which is called src files. Okay, and this is the file. So wherever it is, okay. So now, so when I'm going here, right, designer, okay, I'll just explain you why this, because this is important for senior people. So generally, if you see software architecture, so let's say for example, you are working in a organization, okay, this is where my Informatica server. So you installed Informatica server software, it is running here, assume that it is on Unix. Okay, and then generally this server can be located anywhere in the world. It doesn't have to be. Generally it will never will be on in your office premises. It will be outside only. Okay, it depends on the wherever they get cheaper price, cost and taxes and licensing, they will go and buy. So some people will keep in Canada, some people will keep in UK, and some people will keep in Hong Kong, some islands, lot of different places. They generally they never keep the servers in the office premises. Okay, so let's say this is a server. It is located somewhere, and where Informatica is installed, and now you are working in an office. So your office is here. So this is your laptop. Your Informatica server will be running here and you are here. Okay, so of course both will be connected through network. So in your machine you will have only Informatica client, means at this moment is a designer. Informatica client means what? Designer will be installed. So this is your C, D, E drives are here and your designer will be here. Okay, but your Unix Informatica server will be here. Okay. So now when I open designer, where I am opening this designer? I am opening the designer in my desktop. And whenever you open in a designer, and when anything which you do, let's say if I go to source and import from file, okay, and here whatever structure, file structure it will show, it is like C, D, E drive. So whose C it is and all, this is my local, means my machine, desktop's C, D, E drive. Okay, so now when you open the C drive and all, if you want to import that file, whatever dpt.csv, okay, this file has to be located here only in this my machine currently. So my file currently, whenever I am planning to import, okay, so this file is supposed to be here in your drive. So then only if you go here, then you can see. If the means I simply what I am telling is, this is right now, assume that this is your designer, okay, and then when I am trying to import, and files has to be located on your machine when you are importing, means your local machine wherever you have installed designer. Okay, so I am selecting this file. Okay, so now it is asking, choose whether your file is a delimited or fixed width. Okay, because flat file can be of two types. So now this is a delimited file. Okay, I'm choosing this, and enter the name of the source. Okay, what is the name you want to keep? You can keep it to DPT, no problem. Then start imported row means when Informatica starts reading data from this particular file, so you want to start reading and loading data from the first line or from which line onwards. So generally if I read first line and then load the first record also into target, what can happen? First record is having header. It is not the data, it is the header information. That's why it is asking whether you want to start imported row 1, or sometimes you may have 3 lines headers. Okay, that's why the provision is given. Mostly will have 1 line header. Okay, so you can do two things. One is start import at the row. If you say by from 2, then immediately it can show you that it will start reading the data from here. Or if you say import field names from the first line, and since you are seeing that your first line in your file, okay, is a header, so you are telling to take column names from there. Okay, so it is already recognized that your first line is a header, it is not a data, it has become 2. Okay, so whatever it is, here it should be in. And now very important is, so this is where you will get some challenges. Okay, now my file is having header. So generally how the data reading comes, we discuss in architecture. Every day we'll read data, load into data origin. So now here, every day somebody giving you file and then Informatica reads and loads. Now, I'm going to design my mapping to read data from a file, and I'm saying that in my file, first line will be header. Okay, so I'm reading and loading. So it will ignore first line, it will consider this as a header and then loads here. And every day you are getting a file, Informatica reading and loading. So one fine day, somebody forgot to give a file without header. What will happen? So you have configured here that my first line in a file is a header. Okay, but one fine day, it is a mistake, but we cannot prevent the mistakes. Okay, we'll try to prevent, but we cannot avoid it sometimes. So it will simply consider the first record as header, it will skip that. Assume that that is your fact table data. So the first line having some 1 million transaction. So since you are missing that record, no way, nobody will find out that, okay, since it is skipped here, there is no way, there is no traceability, accountability, somebody will find that, okay, this is missing. Well, it will simply load, it will not fail because it is just simply ignore that. It will load the data to warehouse, and then in the warehouse you will be missing 1 million record, transaction record. So if you generate any reports on that, it will be showing 1 million less. Okay, that's why it is very important that this is where Unix will come into picture. Okay, so now you are reading and then loading. Sometimes here you have configured as a header, but if you do not have a header suddenly coming in a file, it will skip the data. That's why before Informatica reads data from a file, I will have some small Unix commands checking whether your file is having header or not. Since it is expecting a header, so I will add one header to that file from the Unix. Okay, so that is where why Unix will come into picture is I will add a header here. Say for example, this is one case. Let's say I have not selected here header because my agreement is that there is no header. So every day you will get a file without header. But here also I have not selected as header because we are understanding that Okay, header will not come. So always it will read data from first line. Now suddenly you got a header. What will happen? Your program may fail. Because why? It will fail. It will not fail saying that it is a header. Why it will fail? First line is a header today, but it will start reading from first line. So if I go and insert to DEPTNO in a department number column, what happens? It is a character. It will put into a number, it will fail. So that's why all these combinations can happen in a Informatica, when ETL, not only Informatica. That's why before, this is where Unix play key role. Before going to read your data, we will validate the file. Okay. If you have configured header, I will go and check header should present. Otherwise, I will add the header. If I configure without header, I will check header should not be there. If it is there, I will remove that. So you should know the Unix commands, how to find out the header, how to add the header, how to remove the header. That is one case. And second, in Unix itself. So right now I am configuring this file with the comma separated. Okay. So now suddenly one day they send the data with the pipe delimited. So this happens common. Okay. So what happens? This is configured for pipe, that is a comma, that is configured for pipe. Okay. So before going to read, we'll go and validate whether your file is a comma delimited or not. If it is not there, we'll not read it. We'll send back. Okay. So this is where operational challenges we'll have to address it. But nothing to do this with Informatica, but outside we will be doing, outside Informatica we will be doing. Okay. So now I'm showing here how we can do this. So now I've selected delimited and all. So these are all interview questions actually. In this topic, you will get it. Say next. Now it is asking, since you have chosen it is a delimited, what type of delimited it is? Tab, if it is a tab, you can choose tab with a comma or a semicolon. Okay, so here one question would be, if how can you configure pipe delimited? See, there is no character option for pipe. So if it is a tab, you choose semicolon, comma, space. If any other character, then go to others, you give that character. If it is a pipe, you can give a pipe. Okay, but right now it is anyway comma. So I can select comma. Immediately you can see that 1, 2, 3 columns. Okay, then here is the text qualifier. Whether you have a text qualifier in your file or not. Okay, and let's say if I say no quotes, then you can see that your Hyderabad is considered as you have a text qualifier kept in a file, but in Informatica you are telling that there is no text qualifier. Okay, so what it will do, it will read double quote also as a character. Then Hyderabad is one column, this is the second column. If at all, if you say, if in case in your file you have mentioned as a single quote, then you can choose. But right now it is a double quote. Immediately it will ignore the quote characters and then it will take that entire column as a column here. That's why this is important here. Okay, and then say next. Department number, this is a number, and department name and location. If you want to change any data types or anything, you can change and say finish. So this is your file. Okay, so these files you can see the sources, flat file. Now I am going to quickly create a mapping. So this is the source. So you can just, as usual, like whether it's a source, or a RDBMS or a table, whatever it is, just you can drag over here. Okay, this is your source. Okay, since it is a file, so if you go to source qualifier, you will not have any options here. All are disabled. All these properties are applicable for only RDBMS. So that's why be careful. If I say filter, keep a filter. If I want to sort, okay, we'll sort here only. But this is applicable only for RDBMS. Example. So we are reading data from a file. I want to only load department number 10 data. So what should I do? I want to load department number 10 records to target. I will place a target as usual. What logic should I write? So this is why logic, learning transformations easy, but answering, applying transformations for your question or requirement is important here. Now I want to sort the data on department number. What should I do? Keep the sorted transformation. So here I'm not going, so I'm just not going to do any logic implementation. So I'm just for sake of keeping one, I'm keeping one transformation. Not required. I can directly link, but I'm just keeping to have one transformation. So you can use expression transformation. If you don't do anything, so nothing will be there. Okay, I'm just keeping it. It's a, now it is a dummy. So this is your mapping. So now you can find out how good your Informatica. So no matter whether you are reading data from a file or a database, you will have a same kind of option here. Now to run this, I am going to create a workflow. So now if you see source qualifier, since it is a file, you will see file reader. Okay, and now if you come down, previously it is a database. For database, what is required to access? We need a connection, database name, username, password. But if it is a file, there is one property called connection. I will come to this later. If you come down, it is asking lot of information. Okay, so input type file. Okay, there are two types. What is file command? We have to see. I'll come to later. And concurrent reading, source file type, direct, indirect. This is very important. This is very important. Direct and indirect. And the source file directory. So that I'll come after this one. So here are two things. One is, where is your file right now? Okay, so what is PM source file directory? Default means here we have TGT files and here we have a source files. Okay, so $source files means this is the directory. Okay, or if you want to keep CD, E drive, you can directly keep. Okay, now remember this directory, and what is the file name? Under source file directory, we have a file called dpd.csv. This is the dp.csv. Okay, so now one thing you should understand. So now this is my laptop, and here is the client designer is installed, and I have imported a file, and that is dp.csv. The file is now located here in my C derivative. But once you finish, okay, when I save this mapping, generally any code which you develop, where it will generally save? Repository. Where the repository will be there here. Our machine is only dummy. It is just a designer I opened and closed and all that stuff. But the actual, all your software will be in a server. So now, when I am running this mapping will be executed on the server, not on our machine. You will see that, okay, whatever is running, you will see here, okay, but this program will be executed on the server, Informatica server, not on our machine. Will run from here, but it will be executed on this machine. So since your program is getting executed on this machine, whatever that source file directory, TGT and all, they are applicable to this machine. Let's say, for example, this is the directory. So this machine, this folder of this particular server, not of my machine. So that's why when I import, it is CD drive is my machine, but when I say $PM source files and all, this is my machine. This is actually a place where your Informatica server is running. This is very important for your, not only Informatica, in your lifetime. So generally, when you are practicing is a different, but in a real scenario, your servers and your machines are different. Server will be running there, but your machine, okay, whatever use is a dummy. If I throw your machine, nothing will happen. So once I develop a mapping, it will be saved in Informatica server repository. Once it is done, if I throw your laptop, nothing is going to happen because your mapping is safely saved in this location. Okay, I can have one more system and then open, install designer and connect. I open and run it. That's why it is a dummy. Okay, so your mapping will actually run on this. So that's why anything when you are running your mapping, whatever you configure, that is applicable to this server. Okay, that's why when I'm running the mapping, whatever folder and file I'm keeping here, this should be located on this server. Your dpt.csv should be located on this server, not on your machine. Okay, because your machine is dummy. You will develop and then go. Somebody else will run. Okay, so that's why the file has to be located on your machine. Otherwise, it will fail. But why you will not have this challenge in your currently is, I have only one laptop. My Informatica server is on my laptop and client also on my laptop. So that's why both machines are same. That's why you will not feel a difference. But in a real scenario, this will be on Unix, this will be your Windows. So that's why you have to place your files on this Unix machines. Then give that path only. So now anyway, my designer, client and server both are same. So that's why I'm okay with this because right now the file is located under this directory. Okay, and then say okay here. And for target, since this target is under currently in database, you can choose this, okay, and say normal and then truncate. So now I'm going to run it. So we just created this file table, but now we didn't have data previously. Now if I execute, you can see all your department data loaded to file, and you can see Hyderabad, India. Both have been loaded into single column. So you can see that reading data from input source, C Informatica source file directory db.cs, because this is the directory. Okay, and then loaded here. 5 records loaded. Okay, so this is how you can read the data from a file and then load into target. Okay,